Family Reunion is the first segment of the 8th episode of the second season of Rugrats, and there are definitely some interesting bits in this one, and particularly with the way certain characters are animated. It's time for the Pickles family reunion. And when they get there, we have various different babies. Just by pure coincidence, all of the Pickles children seem to be roughly the same age. Most of the babies are around Tommy's age. There's also a child who's maybe closer to Angelica's age. And we have Timmy Ray, who looks quite a lot like Tommy. There's also Tony and Tammi, and then Emmet, who is the slightly older child. And Angelica tells a lie that the family reunion is all about these other families coming to take you away from your current family. And Tommy and the babies begin to panic that that's what's going to happen, so they decide to run from the situation and run into the cornfields. And I have to say, I love the way the corn was animated. I know it seems like such a small thing, but there was just something about it that I found to be very pleasing. There are quite a lot of I guess traditional country accents in here, and the children are wearing traditional country clothing, which gives us something a little bit different, because Rugrats usually is set in the city and it's not something we see a lot of. There are various animals as well. So definitely from a visual perspective, there was a lot to look at. A lot of it was different. And also the babies were talking with, I guess, traditional, maybe stereotypical country accents, which was quite interesting. Rugrats Angelica's lie kind of backfires on her. I won't say exactly what happens, but there's this wonderful moment where she displays this subtle vulnerability, which doesn't happen that often. Usually Angelica has two main modes, either bossy, overly confident, little madam, to put it nicely, or as nicely as possible, or temper tantrum. But there's a moment where we just see this fear in her eyes and she kind of whimpers. And it's unusual for Angelica to not be displaying either extreme. And I thought that that was really, really subtle and really well done, and really helped to show Angelica's true age and the fact that beneath that exterior, she's like everybody else. Tommy is also a much better character than I am, because well, Angelica's in trouble at one point. Again, I won't exactly say what happens with her, but Tommy says that they have to help her because she's a Pickles, even though the other babies didn't want to because she'd been mean to them. And this is not unusual for Tommy. Tommy is often the one who says that somebody who's been quite mean still deserves their help. Really admirable. And not at all like me. Well, that's not fair. I probably would help somebody who was horrible to me if they were in a particularly difficult situation. But let's face it, most of us would potentially think twice about it. So Tommy is pretty admirable. The adults in this are really great. There are a lot of very similar names. For example, we have Hugh and Dotti, very similar to Stu and Didi. And Grandpa. I'd forgotten about Grandpa. I won't say why that's significant, but you'll know what I mean when you see it. And I'd just completely forgotten all about him, and I kind of like how his part of the narrative rounded itself off. Very well written episode, really different to look at and also listen to, I guess. Some really nice bits of animation, some nice character development for Angelica, and Tommy, of course, was just fabulous. I don't remember this one. This is another one where I have zero recollection of it from my childhood. It's not completely a favourite episode so far, but at the same time, I thought there were a lot of good things in it. There's nothing about it I think should have been done differently. So, Family Reunion is not too bad.